Let me begin with our story from Karnataka that's coming in. There's latest update on Darshan. The actor who's been accused in a murder case has now been granted permission to go abroad. Well, here is actor Darshan, who seems to have gotten permission to move abroad for his film shoot. But what we see here is that Darshan is a murder accused. He's being allowed to go about business as usual. It seems like, just looking at him, a bunch of boys in Bengaluru have decided to basically carry out an attack in Darshan-style, exactly what they call it. A group of college students in Bengaluru, they have basically carried out a Darshan-style attack as per exactly what they describe it to be. They've kidnapped a young boy called Kushal, who was lured under the pretext of sorting out a love dispute. That boy was basically kidnapped by these college students, beat him brutally, stripped him naked, humiliated him, videographed that whole incident and made it viral. Now, in one of those boys in that video was also heard saying that we are going to ensure that your case is also like Renukaswamy. Renukaswamy there was similarly beaten, allegedly killed by Darshan and his close aides for sending vulgar, lewd messages to Darshan's partner Pavitra Gowda. In fact, Darshan had spent months in police custody, but even there, it very clearly appeared how Darshan violated the jail norms there. Darshan was seen smoking inside jail, making calls, enjoying what looked like VIP treatment. He skipped, in fact, a court hearing as well. That's Darshan there, violating jail norms, where he was seen clearly enjoying his time inside prison. So clearly was not a very sincere prisoner either. Darshan very visibly flouted jail norms. He was seen making video calls, he had a mobile phone, he was smoking, he was enjoying his time in prison, and then he gets bail. He even skipped court hearings after he got bail, saying that he had back pain and couldn't move, etc. But later was seen at a private film screening. Well, now court has granted permission to Darshan yet again. They have given him permission now to travel abroad to shoot for his film Devil. Look at the irony. He's basically shooting for a film named Devil. He still has a movie in his kitty even after this. And clearly why young men are taking note. You saw that visual of a group of boys in Bengaluru doing the Darshan-style attack. If I could take you through those visuals of the attack. There you have it. Boys in Bengaluru kidnapping another young boy because he allegedly messaged another boy's girlfriend, and they decided to brutally beat him, strip him. We're not going to show you visuals of him being stripped, but these images are enough to suggest how and what precedent has been set with Darshan's case. They clearly saw a star accused of murder walk free, resume work, go back to living the high life, and they thought probably they could also end up with the same fate. They could do what they like, but really no consequences to that. Police have arrested these boys though, but what are we really normalizing here? I mean, what I really see, all right, we've actually played that visual out for you. That's the boy who was fully stripped there and beaten. And in the video, one of the boys are saying that we will ensure your situation is like Renukaswamy. We will ensure your case is like that. Well, clearly in Karnataka, this hasn't gone down well. There have been several questions being raised on Darshan's bail in the first place after such a heinous crime. Of course, the investigation is on, but nonetheless, allowing him to shoot as normal, going abroad, doing as he has to do, what really are we normalizing here? For one thing we understand is that if you are big enough, then you can beat the system. And I'm not at all surprised to see that the next generation here is imitating Darshan to the T. I have with me joining us Sanjay Sahai, former ADGP of Karnataka. We also have Rekha Agarwal, social activist and advocate with the Supreme Court. Barkat Rehan, social activist. ADGP from Karnataka, who's been officer himself, to give us a little more clarity on how should a case like Darshan's be treated. Sanjay Sahai, sir, your take on Darshan being granted bail. All right, he's been granted bail. He's now been given permission to go abroad to do his film shoot, etc. That incriminating evidence suggests that Darshan carried out this crime. He paid his aide handsome money to pull off this murder. And here you have a bunch of boys in Bengaluru assaulting their friend And in the video are heard saying, yours also, this is Darshan-style attack, yours also is case like Renukaswamy, we'll ensure your end is like that. What are we normalizing?
I'm extremely familiar with Darshan's case, and I think I appeared with regards to panel discussions in Darshan case, not more, not less than I think a dozen times.
Yeah.
Suffice to say, unfortunately, I'm on a panel today on 8th of June, and this is exactly the day when Renukaswamy was killed.
Yeah.
And a year after that, I think we are discussing nearly the same thing. While the investigation was on at that particular point in time, also, Darshan's fan club, I think they were reacting in a manner which is supposed to be, I think, from my point of view, was very maniacal in nature. So that sort of a cult figure these people have created, unfortunately, and that goes pretty well with the fans, with whatever they do. With regards to the Darshan case, I think nearly everything was done and it was charge sheeted within the stipulated time. Nonetheless, what transpired later, I think that is most abysmal. Now, the bail conditions which we are talking about and the type of quality of life which he lived in jail, which is out there in the public domain. I don't think we are passing any judgment on the criminal justice system as such. It is exactly what it is. And then he getting bail and is not attending to the court trial or that particular date of court hearing. And then he has got bail, or then he has been allowed to travel abroad for his normal film work. I fail to understand as a normal citizen, I'm not getting into my ex-police officer's role, and I'm not getting into how the criminal ecosystem, or criminal justice ecosystem operates. That if this is not normalizing crime, what is normalizing crime? I think uh, murder is the most gruesome of the crimes. That also being done by a celebrity for most whimsical and the flimsiest of things. And then this person is able to carry on his normal work. The generation which we have, which is primarily fed on social media, and it is also fed on these sorts of celebrities, whom we call as celebrities. Unfortunately, they have also come in a manner which has been extremely irresponsible. So now this has come to the next stage wherein a girl who goes for another another boyfriend wants the social media post or social or whatever is there on that mobile phone to be deleted. So that is the crux of the matter. And from there, she takes the help of another girl who provides all the help of 12 people getting into it. And you get into the whole sequence part of it. I think this girl feels that it is normal. There are two things which are very, very important. That violent retribution has become the order of the day. Violent retribution has become the order of the day, and somehow we have accepted vigilante justice. So it is not only that she is trying to get this guy out of the affair, she is ready to go to any extent without understanding as to what the law will be like and what her fate will be like. And these are engineering college students, mind you. They are there for a very serious business, and the nature of crime which is happening on our campuses is just abysmal. We had this Neha murder case in Hubli. We had the RJ case. I think recently also one or two cases have happened. And a couple of these jilted lovers, the way they are operating. We had this Pune case of some delivery guy who turned out to be somebody known to that girl. So this is where we stand today, where not only crime, violence and violence of a medieval sort is being normalized only because they are confident of the fact that the criminal justice system will not be as effective enough, as predictable enough, and as timely enough to put them
Our criminal
into a
justice system has failed us,
nature of justice.
has
Yes,
failed us
Nature of
time and
justice,
again.
it should be.
Sir, I'm
yeah.
only asking you, has Darshan managed to get bail and permission to go abroad because of the popularity and clout he holds?
I will not go by that logic, but I'll certainly go by the whatever my understanding is that he had a good battery of lawyers who could play around the prevalent law and the prevalent process which the country has. We have also cases in Gujarat wherein I think that major rape case they were let out because of good behavior. So primarily, see, law is meant when say
If
1 or
one
2%
court
of
has delivered a judgment on those lines, can another court also be influenced with a case that has already set precedent, even if it is a wrong one?
High Court and Supreme Court, that precedent can be taken. But just a district court delivering something, I think that precedent is not taken. And Chief Justice of India, the current Chief Justice of India, very clearly said that bail is a right and jail is an exception. Now it is happening the other way around. In simple, flimsy social media sort of a post, you are in jail for years together. And in murder cases, you are out when it is already charge sheeted. When the case is charge sheeted, it is up for trial. The trial is happening. Where is the question of giving bail for that fellow to travel and finish his movies, devil or otherwise? Devil is not only the name of the movie, devil is also the name of the person who is going in for that shoot, and the whole criminal justice
You know,
system
and it almost feels like mockery, sir. First of all,
Yeah.
it is a mockery.
filmmakers,
See, there is a
filmmakers
word and
roping
spirit.
Darshan back into a film that is
I'll tell you
named
one
as
thing.
Devil.
I'll tell you one thing. There is
You know, it
something
almost feels
called,
like they're laughing at the whole system there.
correct. There is something called word and spirit of law. So word of law is being manipulated by process, by technical details and variety of other things. And spirit of law is lost. And that is how justice is not getting delivered. So today somehow I am so
Okay.
enraged that I am ready to speak about every single stakeholder of the criminal justice system and how they are failing us.
Miss Barka, I would like to ask you as, in fact, I'll come to you right after Rekha Agarwal, who's also an advocate herself. Rekha, we're looking at Darshan being allowed by the Karnataka High Court to go abroad and complete his film shoot and come back. My question is, it's not like Darshan has been a good inmate. Even in prison, I'm going to flash those visuals again. Darshan was seen smoking, using a telephone. He was caught, visuals were leaked, and then he was moved from one prison to the other. He skipped many hearings after he got bail. So he's really not been prompt. He's violated the rules of prison, and yet the man manages to get bail and is allowed to go abroad to complete his shoot. Let's face this, the man is a murder accused. There is incriminating evidence that money was handed over to his aides by Darshan himself to carry out this murder, that he tried to cover it up.
Yes.
I'm shocked
My
that the Karnataka High Court has decided to let him go. And the fallout is youngsters imitating him by carrying out similar assaults.
There is a very old saying that art imitates life and life imitates art. I'm really shocked to see what has happened in the case of Darshan and how it has been, how this fellow has got bail. And the public prosecutor, the standing counsel who was appearing for the state? I wonder what argument was put forth by the standing counsel who was appearing for the state, and I'm quite certain that there must have been some opposition to the bail. And the reasons that you've shown about his bad behavior in the jail and not not following the jail rules, I'm certain all those things would also have been presented before the honorable court. I wonder what played upon the mind of the honorable judge with utmost respect of granting bail to a person like this only to complete a movie. Of course, it's a fundamental right to earn his livelihood, but then there are always checks and balances, and such fundamental rights cannot be taken in an unregulated manner. There always, there's a control over that. So I'm a little, I would say that, I'm very disheartened to see that how Darshan has got bail in the first place. And his track record has certainly not been commendable. But again, without reading the order, the complete order, to appreciate what was there in the mind of the honorable judge while passing the order. As Mr. Sanchisa has rightly said, and as has been pointed out by a CGI, that bail is the norm, and jail is an exception. But yes, but this is certainly a case where an exception should have been made the norm and not otherwise. And it's again very, very shocking. I mean, as a lawyer, I feel appalled is the word. Appalled is the word to see how a man with such kind of credentials could have got a bail. He's a murder accused, but yet at the same time, the trial is not over. He's still an accused. So, in the eyes of law, he has not been proven to be guilty. So, if I was to look at it in an impartial manner, I would say that he's as good or as bad as any other accused in the eyes of law. Maybe he's proved guilty, maybe he's not proved guilty. That time will tell. But as of now, I really do not see that they could. Just finishing a movie, I can understand a person, getting bail for circumstances which are absolutely extenuating. For example, some extreme illness, or his own illness, his own
His
treatment, or
own
some
illness,
family
his
member's treatment.
families,
No, but
yes,
yes,
yes. But this
family.
is for
But not in a
completing a
case like
movie,
this. It's just completing a movie. Not at all.
which began shoot after he was arrested and out on
After.
bail.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that means that the film producer and director knew that before taking this man,
Oh
and
yes,
giving
he
him this
he
role,
had signed the film. That's
that you
all.
know
The
he that
movie shoot had not yet begun.
yes. So therefore, the film producer and director were very much aware before they took him on, and gave him the role of a hero or whatever he is in this movie.
No, now
Certainly, a David
they're
David
basically
role.
lapping up the bad boy image. They
Yes,
believe
yes,
that
yes,
this is going to
and
help
probably
people
and,
flock to theaters and watch Darshan.
yes, and probably this is the kind of publicity that the film producer and director were looking for. That in this movie is going to already make millions, and hit the charts. So I think that even before the movie has been completed, there would be such a kind of an attraction to see this movie, particularly
I
amongst
feel
the
sick to
young,
my gut. I feel
vulnerable
sick to
minds.
my gut to know that a man who's directly responsible. Investigation is on. Of course, I can't conclude, but there's enough evidence to suggest that Darshan was first-hand involved in getting Renukaswamy, his own fan of Renukaswamy was a ardent fan of Darshan. We
Ardent
hear
fan.
that he was upset that Darshan was not with his wife and with his partner instead, and therefore started sending lewd messages, not justifying what Renukaswamy did, but to carry out a murder. I'm just shocked and gutted to know that the
Absolutely.
court believed it is okay to have him go and finish his film shoot and come back. That too of a film that's called Devil, which will now be
And
released in
see,
Karnataka, and a very nice
and Nabila,
statement that will be set.
and if I may just add over here, that the investigation is going on, and of course, the charge sheet would have been filed at the court. But a man like this, who is a powerful man, he's a very, very powerful man. He can certainly influence the witnesses. He can certainly influence the outcome of the trial. So in such a situation, considering the background of this man, I with utmost respect, to the honorable judges, I do not know what played upon their minds when granting bail. Certainly, just going and completing a movie cannot be an extenuating circumstances which would justify granting bail to consider, number one, the seriousness of the offense is a murder accused. Number two is a prima facie accused. All the evidence shows that yes, he may have, there's all likelihood, there's a propensity that he has committed the crime for which he's facing the trial. So and then there's nothing that undue hardship was being caused to him. I mean, no undue hardship is being caused to this person while he's behind bars. The movie could have been completed later on.
Ma'am,
So I do think
he's had quite
that
a
the public
luxurious time in
prosecutor,
prison. He
yes,
had literally every
yes,
facility that was available to him. He was
that's what the
arrested and
high
then kept
getaway
very
did.
comfortably in
Yes,
prison with scores of people in Karnataka praying for his release, believing that he's innocent. I mean, look how blindsided they are.
absolutely.
Barka, your take on this. I know you always have an alter opinion, but I can't even think of a point you can support or or counter with regards to
No, I'm not.
Darshan.
No, I won't be supporting Darshan here. Instead, the whole system needs overhauling. We've been discussing this so many times, but powerful people like Darshan, the law is for them. They can do anything. They have their rules. The assault was brutal, but again, it was referred to Darshan-style attack. It's a crime. It's a heinous crime. And we should understand that these criminals should be behind bars. But what happened to Salman Khan? Even he went scot-free. So the law is for the powerful and those who have money. These celebrities become role models, and these people are only glorifying violence. VIP criminals, because the common man never gets justice here. He keeps on going to court, and the justice system fails him. And justice delayed is justice denied. Here you can see the gruesome murder, And Darshan was smoking in jail, enjoying. You have only told us so many times that he was enjoying, he was skipping all the court dates, and he was going for foreign trips. So, but can an ordinary citizen enjoy all these privileges? No. So, whole system sucks. It needs overhauling. Fast track courts.
That's
We only
precisely
talk
what we
about
need. We
fast
need an
tracks.
entire system
Have we ever
overhaul.
have we ever done anything in the fast track court? Have we ever punished these people?
But
Just
I
these
would still say
celebrities
one
are.
step at a time, fine, that's a systematic change, may be very hard for the country to achieve so quickly. Not sure why, we are dragging our feet on it, but at least when we get a case like Darshan's, it's an opportune time for the government, the police force, the law to really come together and ensure that he's made an example. And people take note, because what and how they deal with a case like Darshan's will really trickle down. People will stand up to take note that even the popular, rich, high and mighty cannot get away. The
No,
arm of the law is long enough to catch you, but here it's otherwise, and I'm shocked. A state like Karnataka otherwise is fair when it comes to justice. Why is
No,
it? Why
no,
are
it
we
isn't.
seeing our system fail us, sir?
Law
As a
is
cop
so
yourself,
soft.
a former cop yourself, a quick word from Sanjay Sahay. How best can the Karnataka government intervene? We hear that the Karnataka Congress government has been trying to appeal against his bail, etc. But there's no vociferous push. There seems to be a very subtle nudge here, there, pretending like as if, yeah, we are trying, but we are failing. I'm very shocked that they are not able to do it, that nobody is able to intervene.
No, nobody wants to intervene, so nobody is able to intervene. If they wanted
Law
to
is so
intervene, they
soft.
could have intervened. So that is the long and short of it. And our battery of prosecutors, they are not a match to the defense lawyer. See, at the end of the day, the whole game is fought in a court of law. And in a court of law, it's the legal points you have to prove or disprove to win your case, or you end up losing the case. So today also, if Karnataka government tries, I think there is enough and sufficient evidence. I've not gone through the case file, but whatever I've read, and I've read enough about this case, and I've talked enough about this case, there is enough and sufficient evidence that if it is put in the hands of good lawyers, I think certainly his bail can be cancelled. There is absolutely no reason for him not only to get bail but also to travel.
Renukaswamy comes from a very humble background. His family members who are fighting
Yeah.
this case cannot afford a good lawyer. So what should ideally the state government do
right.
then?
The state government should
Who
be,
cannot
I mean,
afford a good
add over
lawyer?
here, the state government should file
No,
an
no, it is the
application for
job of the
cancellation of the
state.
bail. I think
Yeah.
the public
The
prosecutor has
murder
not been given
case.
the entire facts.
Yes.
Public prosecutor hasn't placed the entire facts before the honorable court.
I'll tell you one thing. The murder case, it is a crime against the state. It is not
Yes.
crime against the individual. The state
Renukaswamy,
has to
yes.
fight the case. The way you and me will fight the case, the state should fight 1,000 times more with the effort, with energy, with legal, with legality, with resources,
No, they
and
won't.
prove it to the world
But
that
they won't.
see you have to.
Actually, they
I-
won't. The law is very light on celebrities, and it is very harsh on ordinary system.
No, the
This
law is the same
problem,
for all.
and it has
It's just
been
applied
lobbied.
differently.
No.
Yes, it
See,
is applied
Law
differently.
is not light.
No,
Law
The
is
it's
not
applied
justice
light.
differently.
Law.
What she
system
means is it's applied
indirectly
differently.
endorsing brutality. They are endorsing brutality when it is a celebrity. And when it is an ordinary system, the whole system changes. And they were very harsh on the ordinary man. But they get scot-free. They can go move abroad. They can go anywhere. They are always on bail. See, you remember Sanjay Dutt, Salman Khan, all these names are
I'll
there.
come back to
They
the same
never
thing.
went to jail. They were, the celebrity crimes are always treated very lightly. The message is loud and clear. Commit a crime, walk free. There is no action on these celebrities. And that is why this crime is increasing day by day. And they know that they will go scot-free. They can run away. They can go abroad. They can do, the law is in their hand. They're making fool. And the whole battery of lawyers save them. The problem is the whole battery of lawyers is only saving them. So what is the criminal justice system? That needs overhauling. And it is
Okay,
the right
you know,
time.
I
And
would,
we should.
I would bring in Ms. Rekha. Ms. Rekha, the court's verdict here, based on Darshan's super powerful and eloquent lawyers, have granted him permission to go abroad. He's not just on bail; he's also getting to travel abroad, do his film shoot, lead his luxurious lifestyle, going about business as usual. What and how best can the state government intervene? Karnataka government claims that they are trying to appeal against it, but we've seen no movement on that front so far. In fact, the dates were different. Then he's reworked on the dates. First round also Karnataka High Court has agreed to him going abroad. Second round when the dates were changed, again now they've said, okay, you can go.
They themselves are protecting.
So
Firstly,
I just want to know, what can anyone do at this point, or which court should one knock
See,
at?
at this
Firstly,
They
I
point
hope
in
that the
themselves are
One
conditions of
second,
protecting.
granting
ma'am.
bail are
Let
very
let
themselves
Ms.
are
Rekha speak.
protecting him.
Let Ms. Rekha speak.
Firstly, I hope, Nabila, that the conditions for granting bail are very, very stringent. I hope Darshan even comes back to the country. He may just decide not to come back.
Who knows?
So that
Absolutely.
also has to
Of
be seen. Yeah,
course.
he may just flee the country like all these people like Vijay Mallya and so many people, Lalit Modi haven't
Nirav
decided to
Modi.
come back. Who knows what is the guarantee that he's going to come back? So I do not know. I'm not aware of the conditions that the court has imposed while granting bail. So I hope they are stringent enough to bring him back to the country. Where is the
Ma'am,
guarantee that he's
on
going to come
every
back?
little case, you have a criminal. The criminal has to leave his passport behind. Let's even take, for example, the recent RCB. It's not a small case, but the RCB stampede, the parade stampede case in Bengaluru. All accused who've been arrested, who are not directly involved but indirectly have put posts on social media, etc., who are currently under arrest. All their passports are currently lying in court or with the police. So how does Darshan get to travel abroad?
Darshan is obviously the passport has been returned to him, and certain stringent conditions must have been imposed while granting bail that he's going to come back on such and such time. I think there must be some very big surety that he must have given to the court. Maybe a few crores or a few, I don't know how many lakhs or crores must have been given as a surety that the chances are that he might come back. And at the same time, as Mr. Sanjay Sahab was also saying, that I wonder whether the public prosecutors did a good job without even casting aspersions, on their credibility. And I'm certain that, we do have very good seasoned public prosecutors. They have, not everybody gets appointed as a public prosecutor. If I'm quite certain that there must have been senior public prosecutors, who were, opposing this bail application, which has been filed on behalf of the accused persons. So I think at
I
this
can't
moment,
imagine
what needs to be done is
anything being above right now the crime that he's committed. Anything being above the crime that he's committed.
Just one point.
I mean, of course,
do
I'm not
have
concluding
a
on the crime. I'm not
filed a
concluding on the crime. This is
cancellation
a prima facie evidence that has been provided by the police. As per what the cops say, Darshan is the main accused in the case. So nothing can be bigger than the allegations leveled against him. For him, his movie should be the last reason why the court should allow him to move abroad. Mr. Sahai, a final word. All right, Bharka, I'm short on time, but what do you have to say?
Just one line. The government themselves are saving such high and mighty people, so nothing is going to change. Second point is copycat crimes are a wake-up call. Today it's Kushal, tomorrow it will be your son. So wake up, it's time to wake up.
All right, Mr. Sahai, the reason to why we brought this in focus today is because a crime happened a day ago. College boys in Bengaluru kidnapping a young boy, assaulting him because he sent messages to the other boy's girlfriend. And the brutality with which, stripping him naked, beating him up, and then saying things like, we are going to ensure your end is also like Renukaswamy's. They themselves calling this Darshan-style attack. So we're leaving a very wrong precedent here, and it's sad just to see what's happening in Karnataka, because anytime now Darshan's movie Devil will be releasing in theatres.
See, law is equal for everyone. But the point is the way it is being manipulated by top shot lawyers, being paid by their influential and wealthy clients. So that is changing the whole equation. So that's point number one. Point number two, more social and less of investigation and trial is primarily the copycat business which is going on. And social media, more so the social media is normalizing everything. If the court is, not the court, if the government is convinced and the police are convinced of the fact that they have done a neat job and it is a open and shut case, if they have brought it to this level, why is government not coming forward in picking up best
Exactly.
of the lawyers and put them as
Exactly.
prosecutors in this case? And from the judiciary side, if they really treat these offenses to be something which is really the most grievous nature, then the whole thing has to be done on a day-to-day trial and finished in 10-15 days. See, the predictability of judgment or justice, that is more important than how whether it will be a capital punishment or a life term or whatever it may be. So there is no unpredictability. Your best of the investigation is not being supported by best of the lawyers. Unfortunately, it is a very candid confession that if you take a whole group of prosecutors and a whole group of defense lawyers, I think the defense lawyers can outbeat the group of prosecutors in literally every nuance of law, inclusive of evading, cajoling, fixing updates, a variety of things. I'll not get into those details. So
Yeah.
law is equal.
And
It
no
has
one wants
been
to do
made to
it.
be unequal.
You know, if you're saying law is equal to all, then this is not what I would have liked to
No.
see.
No, no.
That is what I'm telling you. It has been made unequal.
Yeah.
The law is equal, but it has
Only
to be
for
a
the
fair
rich
playing
and
field.
wealthy. The law is
Yeah.
for the
It has to
rich
be a
and
fair
wealthy.
playing field, right? If the
You know, all I can
prosecutors
hope
are
now
not
is the court is taking note. If Darshan does not come back, then it's on the court.
I will just add one point, and that is the Verma case. And you see what is happening.
All right. Sahai, sir, thank you very much for joining us. Ms.
Thank
Rekha
you.
and Ms. Bharka, appreciate your time on this.